All right, welcome everyone. We are in a very special podcast, live edition with the #1 all-time money list, largest score in the history of poker. Bryn, Kenney, how's it feel?
Feels like surreal a bit, I guess. I mean, I would say I had prepared myself better than anyone for this tournament. Like, it's all I thought about for as soon as the tournament was announced. Like, even when there was word that it was possible that it was going to happen, I remember I would go up to Richard and ask him, like, hey, like, so is this tournament going to happen? Like, every chance just to see. Because I was so excited just to... Because I love Triton anyway. Like, before this tournament, I'm pretty sure I'm biggest winner in Triton. Like, the tournaments are the best. Like, have a good time always.
My understanding is in Montenegro, or no, Jeju, one of the two, they were just talking, they threw out the idea. When did you actually get wind that, hey, this might happen? And did you know that when they announced it, were you just in? Or were you kind of like, you had to fight your way in? Because some guys, I mean, so many big names didn't get to play. And some of those, Helmuth, Ivy, Negreanu, Antonio, four, I would say like the original big four, Seidel's, some of them maybe didn't really understand how valuable it was. They didn't try, but when did you know you were definitely playing, and when did you hear about it?
Yeah, I don't even remember, to be honest, when I heard about it. I guess it must have been in Jeju for the first time, and then in Montenegro after was when I was, oh, come on, like, is it going to happen? I was asking Ivan and Richard, like, oh, tell me it's going to happen, please. And I think a few of these guys, actually, I think they could have went and just decided, like, that they didn't really care about it. They didn't want to, like, travel for it. They didn't really realize, like, how special of a tournament it was going to be.
I was talking to Brian Rass. He tweeted something like, man, I wish I had tried hard. I didn't understand. Antonio was sort of, like, on the fence and, just like, I don't know. But, like, really, it's like history. This is random in history you get this opportunity.
I mean, I think people also thought maybe it was going to get 20 people or something. The thing is, as soon as I knew, as it was announced, and, like, I know, like, Triton guys are going to do it. They're going to put everything into it. Like, my over-under was 50 people off the bat, and it got 54. Like, I knew it was going to be just like the biggest tournament ever by far, and like something that's just special. Like, if you're a poker player, you have to play.
And who was your partner? How did that work? How did you get?
So I mean, as soon as it was announced, I got so many messages, to be honest, like about people wanting to take me to the tournament, because I think I was just, from like the Asian businessman's eyes and a few other people's eyes, I was like the front runner to like win the tournament.
Did you see the actual odds? Because I saw some guys like Big Al got like 130 or to 1 or something. Do you know what your odds were?
The thing is, those odds though, they're not like real odds anyway, because like the thing is, I would look at the sheet and see the prices, and then I offered to bet myself against tons of people who were over me at like even money, and like couldn't get any of that action. So like, kind of, it's just like randomly inflated numbers based on what you think people are gonna like take type of thing. It's not like a realistic betting market, because a lot of the guys who were priced over me, like I offered bets versus any pro, and there were a few guys priced over me that no one took a single bet on them. So I mean, I think people bet on like 5 different guys or so, like small on 2, maybe big on 3 different guys. Okay. And now, like, still, that's about, like, the action I could get. Maybe if anyone wants to bet against me, it's, like, maybe Sam, Makita, and Stevie. And, like, kind of the action, like, dropped after that.
Explain a little bit what cross-booking is and when you do that. And in that actual tournament, so you get the score. There's honestly, the tournament alone, there's so many interesting parts about how the deal went down, how it's structured. But side betting, is that, I saw you had some action visible. How does that work? So you're betting, is it, like, friendly, almost like jousting? Are you guys kind of, like, is it competitive, or are you friends with those guys? Like, how does that work?
Like, it's a bunch of people who have money anyway, so it's just like fun. A lot of people who bet on the thing against me, they were just people who were watching it and wanted to have a rooting interest. Yeah. Because no one really sold action in the tournament, so like no one really publicly sold any action. So let's say you're a guy who has like a bit of money and you want to watch the tournament and you want to have some skin in the game. Like, usually you're gonna bet. I didn't really get any action against people in the tournament. It was all like people like that. And I just started out at first betting. I just thought me and Carrie was the best duo for sure. And like what the bets were like must cash last longers pretty much. Okay. So like I think Carrie is like one of the best in the field and to last longer, and I think I wind up at the end of a tournament like a high percentage of the time too, and then win a lot also. So like I wind up being one guy who cashes a lot and then one guy who closes and cashes a decent amount. I just thought we were the best duo by far. Yeah. So like I just wanted to bet us, and then to be honest, I just wanted to kind of get into people's heads too. I knew I wasn't really going to get so much action when I offered me versus other pros in like a one-on-one, must cash last longer. But the thing is, I wanted to get in everybody's head.
It's also it's scary too, right? The £1 million. If you're cross booking stuff, it's like It's like a real sweat. It's one thing in a 25K or 50K you could get a little touch, but this is like you could genuinely mess someone up here.
Oh yeah, I could have gotten hit in the head hard because I mean pretty much every piece of action I had was on myself in this tournament.
Right.
So like if I just bust first and then a few of the pros cash that I have the last longers in, like not only do I lose the big piece I had of myself, but get now crushed in like the bets.
When you talk about big piece yourself, this is something I think this is almost overdone now because of some of the talks. People say, oh, the pros never have more than 5%, 10%. Without going into specifics, you and I spoke a bit about this. It's safe to say out of the pros, you had the largest piece out of anyone you know?
Yeah, I mean, I for sure had like double the largest piece of any of the pros that I know, and like I'm probably also I had less money than all the pros like going into the tournament, and then made a bunch of like side bets also. So like the thing is, I risked a huge percent of my net worth on this tournament just because I just thought it was mine. I called my shot. Like half pros, half VIPs. I just thought 3-day tournament, like perfect tournament for me. I just felt like the last 15 years of my poker career like kind of set me up like to be ready for this and like to win it. That's what happened.
During the tournament, what was the low point? You started with 1 million chips. Were you ever up against it? Were you in good form? Did you feel the whole time just like this was going to be yours, or was there some dicey moments?
I was like really grinding like the whole time. Actually, I never really had any chips. I think I chipped up to like maybe 1.8 or maybe like 2.2 million, pretty like steadily, not early, just when that was about average. Then I remember I lost a few pots. I think my low point was about 700K or something. But even actually my low point 700K, I think that was when there were 20 people left or something. So kind of I was just grinding the whole tournament. When we made the money, I was either last in chips or second to last in chips. Like never doubled up, I'm pretty sure, in the tournament before we hit the money. As soon as we hit the money, I doubled one hand, like a coin flip, ace 10 versus threes. But I mean, I pretty much just like grinded and like kind of just wanted to give myself a chance of the tournament. And just like for me, I feel like the most important thing is just to still be in there. It doesn't matter how many chips you have.
Right.
Like for me, I think I'm very dangerous even if I'm sitting there with 8 blinds, because all of a sudden you get a few hands, like all of a sudden you're sitting there with 30 blinds. And if you have the mentality where you could change your game like very well and adjust very well, you can do it faster than people expect. And you can go from playing solid with a short stack to now aggressive to solid to like, you can really start like kind of tricking people, and starts getting to be a mind game when you're kind of swinging around stacks.
And you got to have a lot of experience. These field sizes, high rollers, 25Ks, 100Ks, you've played as many as anybody. You're in there with all these guys, so you know how when it's down, you're short on the bubble. You know all the different stages and feelings of a tournament. When you're in for a flip, talk to me about how you feel, because I want to talk about the Stevie Han as well. There was big implications at that final table. 3 players then had a chance. You, Dan Smith, and Stevie. You guys were 4-handed in the number 1 all-time spot, which is there's rare to get these kind of huge scores. Was there? I mean, it's like talk to me about was that on your mind? How did that go? The Stevie Han in particular, which was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that shove and kind of Stevie, a great player.
Yeah,
maybe that was a strange spot, uncharacteristic, maybe.
Yeah, of course. Stevie's one of the best for sure. Yeah. Like, and I mean. So like I had a grinding stack pretty much the whole tournament, like 30 to 40 blinds, and like I'm honestly very, very comfortable with 30 to 40 blinds, like getting some like light 3 bets through sometimes, just like kind of surviving and just staying afloat, like if you're getting no cards and not really taking high risks. So I was kind of just comfortable, like in there 30, 40 blinds, chilling. And then all of a sudden we get 4-handed and I start winning big pots, knocking people out. We're sitting there 4-handed, I've got half the chips in play.
Yeah, and you got aces a couple timely times, knocked out, got in good spots.
Yeah, 2 aces, knocked out guys. Like, then just was sitting there with so many chips. And I mean, I did such a good job to tell myself that there was like another tournament. But then at the same time, you're sitting there with half the chips, 4 left. And I was like, okay, I had to get up and tell myself, okay, just like breathe. You have to forget about this. Like you have to forget about this. Like I know it's like the biggest spot. Like maybe you'll ever be in. Like, but you have to just imagine like it's a normal day and just
play your game.
Play your best. Exactly. No pressure. Have a good time. Exactly. Right. And that's like the Stevie Han. Like is in this spot, like Stevie can't really call with anything when he He's second of 4, and he had a pretty nice margin on the other 2 guys too. I think he had double Dan and like 1.5 times Aaron. So that's not like a slight second. Like that's a nice second. Even though I have a lot more than him, that's still a solid second place.
So how many blinds did he have when he opened sevens? Roughly, like because you jammed King Jack on it from the big blind, I believe.
What do you have? 30. I think he had 30 blinds around or something.
Okay, so he had
that seem about right?
Yeah, maybe there was
maybe a little less, 25, 27.
Yeah, and then maybe there was a 10 blind and 15.
Yeah, maybe like 25. Like. Maybe seems right.
So when you jam King Jack off there, you're targeting. You just know he literally has to have like 10s plus, like Ace King, and he or in your mind that's what would happen. He ended up calling a seven. You were surprised when he called there.
I mean, I never like checked the math, so I wouldn't really know. Like I would never know. Like,
that's the next step. We're gonna talk GTO and all this.
It's like 10s plus. Like when the guys who check the math like say like you need at least 10s, and 10s is a slight like winner, like and Ace King suited. For me, like I would just even think to fold Ace King suited, maybe even like 10s. So that's the thing. Like Stevie's an aggressive player. Like he's smart also, but at the same time he's an aggressive player. So he'll open in spots where other guys aren't opening, like where they're 2 out of 4 here. A lot of people in Stevie's seat here are just gonna play so snug and try to wait.
That hand or fold.
Yeah. Some guys will even maybe fold, but like limp or fold. But no, even hands like Stevie, I'll put on a guy who would raise hands like 7-8 suited sometimes here too, where like other guys like wouldn't, kind of knowing that I'm gonna put max bubble pressure. Like Stevie isn't really afraid of that. He'll just he'll still just like do it.
So King Jack off, you jam. I mean, it's sort of the perfect hand in this spot to do it, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're just, you're gonna get a lot of folds. He calls, you see sevens, and that. I mean, that's like, what's going through your mind. Biggest equity. I don't even. If you do the equity chip and what that really is worth in real money dollars, that flip, it's just massive. What we're going through?
The flip, the pot must have been worth like 7 mil like pounds or something, somewhere around there. Maybe a little less, maybe like 5 million pounds or something, but like a ton. I mean, I couldn't believe it when I saw him flip over sevens. Like, I thought that
you called. You're probably thinking your.
I thought he had to. No, I mean, no. I thought he had to have like 9s or. I thought he would have called with queens like faster. Maybe even Ace King. I think him at least would have called faster. Like even Jack. So like once he started tanking, I thought we were just gonna be flipping for sure.
Right.
I was pretty sure like it was exactly 9s.
Right.
I was like, okay, it must be 9s.
Yeah.
Then once he started using like more banks, because I thought he honestly I just thought he would have folded 7s like quicker, even 8s like quicker, and then like maybe once he called, I was just sure he was about to flip over 9s, and we were just gonna flip for the tournament.
Right. So he calls, you win the flip, you basically have overall. It's just on that game over, but you've got a huge lead. You're cruising. And you get heads up. Tell me about the deal, because Aaron Zhang is a cash game player more. I think he had total lifetime earnings under $1 million. I mean, he doesn't play a lot of tournaments. At that stakes, those levels, at what point are you just making a deal and never making a deal? Or, it's nice to get the number 1 all-time score locked up. Was that part of the cross your mind? Get a 20 mil score, variance, things happen, heads up. What happened there?
To be honest, I don't even like think about that, because I don't really think about the money either. Like, I just try to have like a good time and always be like very friendly. So like, Triton does like a great job. We're playing for a lot anyway, so I mean it's happened before where I've gotten heads up with like someone that another pro wouldn't make a deal with, and like I've made a deal. Like other people try to look to get like maximum edge they want. I'd rather like have people have a good time playing with me. If they're like heads up, they're playing for $1 million tournament. We like already cashed for this, and they want to like chop up this and play for a little bit. Yeah. Of course, I'm just not going to say no or try to get like anything extra.
What was that? That's what was the actual? You played for?
I think it was what I think we had to play for 1.1 million as like whatever percent that was of the prize pool.
And as it stood though, 20 million and change locked up, which makes it the number 1 all-time score. You knew heads up you had even no matter what heads up you had the number 1 all-time money list spot. What was that like? To when Dan Smith went out, when it was sort of over at that point, did it like were you just kind of this is crazy?
Yeah, for sure. Like just once I got heads up and we stood up and he said, "Do you want to just chop it up?" I kind of just started breathing. I went over to the rail, like told my mom, like, "Wow, I'm like number 1 all time." Like now.
How was that to have your mom fly in? So she came from where, New York?
Yeah. So it was she just like when the day ended, I think she hopped on a flight 3 hours after, got in the morning of the final table, like. I mean, she's huge support. I can't say number 1 supporter because my grandma actually is my number 1 supporter. Like, Even my mom says, like, my mom's a huge supporter. For anyone else, she would be their number one supporter for sure.
Right.
Like, my mom loves me more than anything, like, does anything for me, like, the best mom. But my grandma, like, she sits and watches it all day, every day.
Oh, man,
like,
that's awesome.
wears poker, like, jackets and stuff, talks about it all the time, likes to gamble herself. So let's say I'm even playing some, like, 5K main event somewhere. She'll just be refreshing updates even.
That's awesome.
Like, maybe she'll get no update of me for hours. She'll just sit there still and refresh updates.
She plays Bryn and stuff? Like, she's got her
she plays, like, Rummy and, like, she likes Scrabble and Rummy
cool
and, like, some poker games, too.
Tell her grandson made the number one all-time list. She's got to be over the moon. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Your mom comes, you hit the score, you get the money, you go party. I said there's a 30,000-pound bottles you're giving out to the dealers. What was that about?
No. I mean, I just, like, put it on the rail, and anyone who, like, of my like, friends, whoever wanted it, like, my friends to drink it, anyone who went over and wanted to have some. Like, there was a bit left in the first bottle. I left it for, like, the guys at Triton. Told them, like, enjoy some of this.
That's fun, man.
Like, went back to my friend's place and just, like, drank another one of the bottles. Still have, like, the third of the 3 bottles.
That's crazy. So, all right, we get the score. We're gonna look through your Hen and Mob, the whole kind of the storyline on it. There's so many questions. Instagram, Twitter. We're gonna try to get to. Bryn has something later today, so we may have to do another podcast. But we'll answer questions. We're gonna go through, and I want to talk about your career before we look at your Hen and Mob, which is obviously it's a lot of years of playing. Tell me about the initial start, and was there resistance? This is always interesting to me to see. Was your parent, was she behind it? Was it like, I don't know? Obviously, as things sort of progress, it gets easier. But what was like college like? I think you dropped out, or you went in for a week or two or something.
Yeah, so
tell me about the start.
So I mean, I played Magic: The Gathering first, and like what happened is people just started playing poker pretty much. When Dave Williams got second in the main event, like all the Magic players were like, "Oh man, I guess we got to play poker instead." And I had already started playing a little bit, like with friends in my backyard. And by the time I was 17, I started playing on like my mom's, on Poker Stars or Grandpa's, and then just was hooked. Like all day, every day, just played online. Like. Yeah, first my mom and my girlfriend in high school, so I was 17 at the time.
You used her name right. I think I read that somewhere.
Robin was her name.
Yeah.
So like they thought like they were going to church and stuff, so they thought gambling was evil, and I guess people around were saying that. So my mom was actually saying that I had to go to Gamblers Anonymous. And my dad would just tell her like, "Hey, look, like he's just gambling on the computer. It's much better than like going out and doing what kids do usually at like 17 years old.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing.
Hey, would you rather him like do this or go be out on like the streets drinking and like doing drugs, whatever? Like, I think it's pretty good. Don't worry, we'll get over it. And then as soon as I start winning, my mom comes to like Barcelona and stuff, starts coming on trips. Of course, like it's a different thing. At least, I mean, she knows me anyway, so it's different. Maybe at like first. She was just worried about that, but she's always trusted me 100%. And even when things go bad, she's like the person who I could always call and talk to about anything, and she'll just be like the rock and listen, like non-judgmental, which I think is super important also, like in life, just have someone that you can vent to about things.
For sure.
Like when things are going bad, just have someone who will listen to you.
It's key, because if you're getting resistance from family and you're getting in your ear and you're not feeling supportive, it's hard. So that's great. And it was cool to see your mom there. You could see how happy she was. She just seemed really like she was just zen. It was awesome. It was really
she was just smiling so big every time I looked over and saw her. It was amazing.
It was good energy. Let's look here back. It's very similar. I think I saw November 1, 86. You were born.
Yeah.
And I'm September 5th, 86. So around the same time we got in, and I'm looking here on your Hen and Mob. Do you remember this? The first ever tournament you played. This is 2007.
At Turning Stone.
Turning Stone. You get a second place and $1,000. Do you remember this?
Yeah, of course.
Was this had you already had your online kind of roll and been playing, or was this sort of like you were just getting going?
I mean, you never really know, because I had some like I had so many like online like rolls. Even at 18, I turned like no money into like 250,000 playing like limit hold'em heads up only, and then like lost it all also that year, and like played so many different variations of games and like spun it up, lost it all, and just like crazy.
So you're not one of the guys that just do 50 once and it went to the moon. Like you've done the up and down and gone broke. And
like so many times. Like I've went like from millionaire to negative millionaire for sure, more than like anyone else has in the poker world, which I think has just been able to get me to this zen point where like I can just accept everything, like be where I'm at, and like the rest just doesn't matter. I've always just trained myself that the past just doesn't matter. Like you can learn from it, but there's no point to be hard on yourself for the past because it's just over. You can't change anything, and being hard on yourself is just going to create negativity and just help you in no way.
Absolutely, and we're looking here. I mean, this is going to be. We can't really go through it all, but just sort of. It's really insane. What would you say was the turning point for being a live tournament player in particular? I know you play online, GG a lot, and you rep. Like, was there a moment? Was there one of these tournaments that really propelled you? Because I see you're now playing. You get a 255K score, pretty deep in the main event. That's fun. So 3-4 tables left.
That was a sick summer. I mean, I was chip leader in the 25K 6 max with like 18 people left with like a huge stack, and just lost a few all-ins in a row just to bust in 8th, which was such a letdown. And then go from that to playing in the main event, like make such a run. Actually, I wasn't all in for all my chips until I busted in 28th place. Damn. I pretty much had like a big stack the whole tournament. I mean, for sure it was one of the best performances I ever put on like in my poker career. And even like that year, if you look at like all the runs I had, like deep in the WSOP Europe main event, I lost Kings versus Ace, 9 off versus Ivy for chip lead with like 28 people left.
Which one was that?
Like right here. Okay. Then like this like the 5K main event in Barcelona, 32. Like in the 10K, I lost aces versus queens, and ace queen off for chip lead in that big 10K right there. Shit. Like I was deep in the W Coupe main event that year. I got maybe 15th place or something.
You're just knocking your ready, and it just wouldn't.
I was there every single tournament.
And so I see then you're 100. This is your first big. Well, maybe you had played one before, but 100K, you get third. What was that like? Was that when you started getting in the high roller scene? Or?
Yeah, I guess. Well, I think that was when they did the first like real high roller event, like 100K event. They did it in PCA. If that's my first cash.
Yeah, I think it's your first 100 big cash for 100K.
Yeah, so that's the first year they ran it then, in 2011, because I played the first year that they ran the 100K in PCA. Yeah. And then, I just always like enjoyed playing the highest stakes versus the people who thought that they were the best in the world, or versus also the people who were the best in the world. Right. I just always had the most fun like competing. That's what I enjoy about poker, is competing versus the best and challenging yourself to be your best, to be your sharpest, to always be on all the time. Like it's a complete like mind war, like is the way I see it. So
right, it keeps you sharp, right? It's again, it's evolving. The game changes. I definitely want to talk about GTO now. You had some pretty, I always say the cards don't matter, which is really cool because it really, in a lot of spots it doesn't, and I think that's something that even knowing that most people aren't able to really utilize that and really go for it in spots where they're just like, you know what? So that before we go back and look more on your career, talk to me a little about what that means. You're talking to Liberty. It was really interesting how you, right before the round table, almost on stage, just kind of saying like, I don't, F GTO, I don't do this stuff, I don't use PO solvers and all this stuff, but I know it's not like you're just lazy, and I think that's important to clear up. You're not saying I'm just not working on my game. You're watching the streams, you're looking at guys, you have tells, you have notes. Every player, like you said, Stevie, like he's 7-8 suited opening there, but maybe Dan Smith, you might not jam King Jack off just for
exactly.
Like even though spot, like you know what
exactly. So it's all about like adjusting your range. Right. I mean, the thing is, I think like I said in the live interview also. Like the thing is, I don't talk poker with anybody. So all these guys, they're studying like these things, these theories, these ideas of how they should play. Right. Okay, so if I know who's friends with each other, I know what they're talking about, and I get to study like 10 different people at the same time when they get 1/10 of the hands versus me. I think it all comes down to like hands, kind of. And I just have I've been just blessed with an incredible memory. So I mean, I can think back to tournaments and I could recite of that like 25K no limit in 2010. I could tell you like a few hands I played against like Justin Bonomo like in the beginning of day 2, when like me and him had like one of the best wars in that tournament of like of any tournament I ever had.
I did read something that your mother got you baseball cards or trading cards when you were a kid, and you could remember, like, as you were super young, like literally ridiculously young, you would memorize like 60 player names and stats and stuff. So
yeah, I mean, I think they might have, like, I think someone maybe exaggerated the thing where I knew like stats and stuff. But I mean, my mom and dad say for sure, like, it was at 50 to 75 cards, and before I could read, I knew names and positions at least. Which, I mean, anyway, it just, I mean, maybe I was born with a sick memory also, but also maybe that trained my memory from like a young age too, just, and honed my skills to make like the memory I have now, which it's crazy. I can think, if someone tells me something, I could think about it and I could see, not even just a picture, I could see like a video of it in my head, kind of. I could see the people moving, I could see a reenactment of like the scene. It's like I see a movie in my head almost.
Yeah, it sounds like a photographic memory, even more so, videographic memory.
Something special.
Something's going on up there. Well, so through the career, you go through here, and then when do you feel like it really took over? Because you have another big... At PCA, I remember you having a few huge years, like winning events.
I mean, I had like so many crazy ups and downs too, because I think it was in even... before that 2010, I had already went on a run on Full Tilt Poker where I turned like 50K on Full Tilt and Poker Stars into like 3.5 million in 2 months playing Heads Up Omaha when I never played Omaha before.
Wow.
Like, I never played a hand of Omaha. I hopped into 2550 Omaha one day, and 2 months later I was winning 3.5 million in Omaha. Never discussed a hand with anybody. Just like sat there and kind of got like a feel for it. By the end I was playing 500, 1,000 versus like Ivy and PLO, and I think maybe I was one of the biggest winners against him. I remember I beat him for maybe like 700 or 800K.
Right.
Like, then just like kind of started being stupid, staking too many people, like spending too much. So like that 3.5, I didn't even lose myself. Maybe I lost like 500 myself. So like the thing is that's always saved me is my poker career. Like, my graph is just straight up. Like, even when I say I've had like these $1 million downswings and being negative, a lot of that you could account for just like spending, staking, sports, like stupid things like on the side. Like,
do you so sports you reference, do you like to bet? You're a big sports fan, New York guy, and you love, who's your teams, and do you dabble? Is it only like big games, or do you like to play sometimes?
No, I kind of make it sure that it's just like Super Bowl type of thing now.
Special
like, I just there's like no point, even if it's just like the business is horrible no matter like what side of the business like you're in. So I mean, it's just, I try to save like my energy best I can. You know, sometimes you get like stuck in businesses when people try to people explain something to you in kind of like the way that it really isn't even, and just like kind of try to suck you in. And I think maybe some people thought that because I would believe like a story, it makes me like dumb for some sense or so. But the thing is, just because I'm like
benefit of the doubt, you believe in people.
Exactly, because I believe in people, it doesn't really mean anything. But then at the same time, once I realized like someone was trying to take advantage, that's also just going to get you cut for life also.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is, I'm so easy where something that happens in the past, I forget about it, move on, I don't care anymore. I don't care if someone scammed me for millions, for like whatever it was, like, hey bud, like, have a nice life, I don't care to talk about you like ever again. Like, just move on, focus on what I can focus on.
Right, and you're learning experiences that happens. I think everyone in poker at some point there's been money, whether you've lent money or something, things happen, and it's about learning and progressing, and it sounds like you've been through a lot of lessons, and
exactly.
you bet on yourself, right?
I've just been like the one who's the biggest. So since everybody's like done like a bit of it, I've just done more than like everybody else, because I was like the kid who just always had money, always won, like, and always like splashed, always spent, would stake people, like didn't like, you know, don't really give a fuck. Like, that's like
action, you're having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you feel within the poker high stakes community, let's say the top 10, 20 players in the world, I mean, it's pretty obvious. You can go to GPI and look at them, it's synonymous, what people agree. How do you feel? Do you feel with inside the pros? Because it's hard to argue. If you're looking from the outside, if you're at home, you're watching, Bryn, Kenney, 10 million lead. Now, Justin Bottom had a score yesterday, 7 million in a short deck event. You have a 7 million lead, roughly, on number one. You get the spot. Would you say within those peers they would say you are the best or one of the best, or do you feel that maybe because you're more not GTO, more field street poker, if you will, like you say, do you feel like they don't respect that as much, or what?
I mean, I think that everybody who's a winner at like the highest stakes at least has some respect for me no matter what. Even if they think that I play some guessing game, that they imagine that I don't have a strategy or something. I think a lot of people really don't even think I have a strategy. Like, they just think that they're smarter than me because maybe I'm doing something that loses like half a big blind or something. And because all these guys, like, they think that they're smarter and they're all part of like a clique. They'll never want to like admit that like someone else is the best. But the thing is, no problem. Everyone can keep saying that like Stevie or whoever's the best. But like I offered to someone else, like for anyone, why don't you go look at like all the coverage like that there is of me, of Stevie, of anybody else. And I'd love to bet anybody that someone will say that just based on looking at the coverage that I'm the best poker player in the world. I mean, I have no big blow-ups really in big tournaments. Like, I play like a pretty strong game. I've heard almost every win, hey, you played a flawless day. Like, how many times do you really hear like someone played a flawless day? Like when people like can see the cards, it's so hard to play a flawless day. I've came back from so many like 9 of 9 and 13 out of 13 stacks and kind of just fought from like the bottom where there's like other guys who win, but they win when they're like chip leader stack and aren't such good like grinders. Like, I mean, other people could say different, but whatever. I mean, honestly, like I do think that for sure I'm the best. I think I make the best decisions, like the best like close game time decisions, like based on the way the other person plays. Right. Maybe these guys, they understand math more and what like something is, but the thing is the math based on that only matters if their range is what you think your range is. Right. So like, sure, when you guys are studying, you guys are playing great against each other, of course. You guys are playing very tough, making good calls against each other. But what about against the other guys whose ranges are like completely off? So you'll see guys make like calls that they say like, oh, I have to call, or this is like top of my range here, versus guys in spots where like I've never seen them show up with a single bluff before in my life. Right. So like that's the thing. I mean, I'm like analyzing like hands and boards and what people are doing. And the thing is, I'm not going to imagine that someone's trying to make some like huge bluff right now that they've never done in the past like 13 years. Right. They're probably just doing the same thing that they've been doing. So I mean, to say that, oh, you have to call with something, I feel like I imagine poker more of like a flow type of thing. Like people play like different and different times, and like people play different too when they're confident, when they're unconfident. Yeah. Like one thing that I always thought about that I didn't think other people didn't, let's say you walk into a high roller tournament and you see that someone's been losing, you see it on their face, that they're just down. Like this is someone that you go after, like in the tournament. They're not feeling good. They might make like stupid loose calls, like careless. Like they're just not in the right frame of mind to battle like on the highest level. But then at the same time, let's say guys feeling real good, winning. Like you just don't really want to like push pots against these people. You know, exactly. Poker's like a game of maneuvering. I feel like much more than it's a game of math. Poker's a game of making like good decisions over and over again, with like the information that you have. And
that's really well said. I think that's something that is out of touch and people don't really understand. And at the highest level, when you are playing the world beaters on a given day, your preparation, your mindset, your routine, how your energy is, that it does matter, because at some level there's not a ton to give, you know.
Plus in the end, it just really matters if like you just can look at someone and just say, hey, is this guy going to make a hero fold against me or not? Right.
The hand. I think the pivotal hand of that final table was against Wild Bill. You know, I had a nice. I was on the rail sweating, good showing from Bill.
Where like
he let out on a turn. It was kind of bizarre. Yeah. Like, and then you just like attacked him. Like when you King 7 of diamonds, you bet the flop, you had good backdoor draws, you turned.
And he's just going to like check fold the flop here too. So like I got to like small c-bet the flop here. Like he's short in the big blind. He's not going to really hit the 9-3-4 like rainbow flop so often.
Right, and then the turn was a diamond.
It paired the 3, right? Yeah, the 3. Or the 4.
No, the 3, because he had ace 4.
Yeah, paired the 3.
And he led, and you ripped it on him. Like, what? Because, I mean, that was an important pot. If he calls you there somehow and you lose, like, your stack is in big trouble there. So
the thing is, though, he was playing, like, very solid, and I just thought he would even fold like a 9 here. Yeah, so that's the thing. And I just thought that he would never lead out with a 3. Like, why lead out with a 3? Your hand is so strong. Why don't you, like, let me bluff? Right. Like, check call twice with a 3. Like, leading out looks like either he's got a straight draw and he's trying to like.
The sick part is how Bill was playing. He may have actually done that, but maybe. But it was great.
But he has more 4s and more straight draws probably, and the pot is big too. Like the pot is the pot's like a little less than what the shove is too.
And that's, to me, that's the point though. You're opening King 7 suited in a big spot, and like in a you know, you just those kind of hands, like those are little things that maybe most. Yeah.
For sure, like the difference of winning that hand and losing that hand, because that starts letting you open more hands and feeling just better and more comfortable.
And then people see the King 7 suited now. When you get aces, guys are jamming on you.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about like trying to use like your perceived image is the thing.
Well, give me a little look in your your routine leading up to just in general on a daily? Are you there on time on tournaments? Does it depend on the buy-in or the situation? Would you rather sleep in and be rested versus start at the time?
Yeah, I'd rather sleep in and be rested if like that's what I need is the thing. Okay. I always just kind of want to go when I feel like going is the most important thing. But I think it's even since you said routine, it's not even this question, but my routine like for this $1 million tournament, like I planned like 3 months for like what I would do like, just to prepare for this tournament. Like I went to Vegas and played just one tournament. I forget, it was a 50K like first event during the summer.
Yeah, let's look through your.
And then like right after that, I decided like okay, I want to take some like time off, get my mind good. I took a 2.5 week road trip like in California. It was the first time I did it, like San Diego to Napa Valley. Like I did a few days in San Diego, a few days in LA, a few days in Big Sur, a few days in San Fran, a few days in Calistoga. Like went to the NBA Finals Game 6, which is like the last game that'll ever happen in Oracle Arena. Like unbelievable again.
So you're looking for experiences.
Yeah, like I flew my mom in too to see that game and to eat at French Laundry. So like when I was looking at the game actually, I heard about French Laundry, so I go to the website. And I see, okay, the only availability they have is for 6 people. And it was only me and my girlfriend, so we only had 2 people. Right. But I was like, I don't really care about that. Like, I'm just going to book it now, pay for, and it's like pay all in advance too. So you're paying for like all 6 seats right now. Yep. I was like, whatever, I'll make it happen. If I don't make it happen, I want to eat there anyway.
Michelin 3 stuff.
Yeah, and my mom actually, she always talked about the place since I was younger. So I said, okay, so I'm going to have to bring her out for like French Laundry and the basketball game.
It's one of those things like Bill Perkins writes about, he's got a book called Die With Zero. It's like, these poker tournaments.
Yeah, I love that. I've said that before. I've never talked to anyone about it before. But for sure, like that's like, I love like Bill's attitude and his thought of like giving back for sure. Because I have like really a lot of similar ideas. And I've said that to other people too. Like my goal is to become a billionaire and die with zero, of course,
it's a cool title,
and do like a lot of things that just like have a good lasting impact on the world.
That's what I'm saying. You're gonna remember that moment, your mom forever. Like those are things like those are
experiences are really what's important.
In Tokyo as well. You love to go to Tokyo. I still not been. That's on top of my list. I'm getting ready to run over there.
When you go, you have to tell me because I'll book all. Yeah. You have to book a bit in advance, and I'll just send.
My wife's Brazilian. We actually flew to London, connecting to go to Tokyo, and then there was a mishap, and we didn't know she needed we actually were on the flight going
visa for Tokyo or something.
Yeah, and we didn't. Somehow we just didn't think of it. And didn't end up going and whatever. We're going to be going. So I will hit
the city you got to go to.
You just love the sushi? I see you always.
I love the food even. It's not just like the sushi. It's like the pizza, the Italian like
pizza in Tokyo.
Oh yeah, it's like qualifier for best in the world, and I'm from New York. Like I say, even like I've had it all. Like I think New York pizza is better than like Napoli and like Italian pizza. I just like it more, like the way the crust is. Like,
it's like look your Instagram.
But then at the same time, I like Japan. I might think that their pizza is actually #1 because they do it like a Napoli style in the best places. They bring in like the $100,000 ovens, and what they do is they make a bit of a crispy bottom like New York. So it's a mix of like New York and Italian pizza.
That's amazing. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone.
So actually, an interesting fact is, Japan is the only country in the world that the Italian national soccer team doesn't bring their own food to.
Wait, Italy?
Like the Italian national soccer team, they bring their own like food everywhere they go in the world except for Japan.
Huh.
So like pretty much Italians who are the most proud people about food even admit that the food is better in Japan.
Okay, I didn't know that. This is very interesting. I like that.
They have everything too, like onsen. Also, you go to an onsen in the mountains, like natural spring bath for 2-3 days. It's like going to a spa for a week. Like they say that the powder there. I've never been snowboarding. I'm going to go this year, but they say the powder there is the best in the world.
I've heard that.
Like the people are friendly. The streets are so clean.
Bill said when him and Lara just went, they played a game. Who could find trash?
Oh yeah.
You cannot find a piece of trash in the city, which is like that's
it was so funny because I had been there for maybe like 2 months straight and I'd never seen a piece of trash on the floor, and I was saying it to someone, and we're in a mall and we were going up the elevator and there was like someone's receipt on the ground, and that was the first thing I ever saw. Exactly, it must have fallen because I saw again one other time someone was just walking and something fell out of their pocket. They didn't even drop it. And like an officer like runs after them.
Dives and it's like emergency.
And like you can't smoke on the street either. There's like a special like smoking area too.
Like the subways and stuff, people are on the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in public.
The subway's clean and nice, like best subway system.
Tokyo endorsement right here. I gotta check it out.
Japan endorsement.
Japan. Overall.
Clothing too. I mean, I think best in the world, like fashion, clothes.
Speaking of clothing, you had the suit argument. There's someone's making a thing at the come to the fountain table dressed up. Well, you came with it was a custom jersey, which was pretty sick. In terms of the suit, but what is that? What was that? Who made that, and what is that?
Yeah, so like this company, they're called Cotemer, and it's just like a store that I read. Actually, my dad pointed it out when we were in Japan, and he saw this. I bought like this part Roethlisberger jersey. Like it's a Roethlisberger jersey, and then they did something different where it's zipped in the front, and there's something in the front and a kimono on the back.
If you want to grab water.
No, it's okay. And then actually then I came back in again. I bought like a few t-shirts. Like they would make these custom made t-shirts with like part kimono on them. That's and just like really sick, all custom made stuff. So I was a good customer there, and I just sent the guy a message. I'm like, hey, would you maybe make me a custom jersey?
Yeah.
Like I thought about it literally for this tournament exactly. Like I wanted to have it. I said, hey, I wanted to just have like New York on it, whatever else, like no problem.
There it is, right? This is the photo actually.
Yeah. It's a lucky jersey.
Yeah, that thing we might see that again.
Yeah.
Final table.
Lucky jersey for sure. So I mean, the thing is, it's not like I want to be like, oh, like screw your rules. Like I won't like follow any rules. But then at the same time, I just really thought it was something interesting too. I feel like everybody else is wearing a jersey. I mean, a suit anyways. So like, it doesn't really matter. Everyone's going to look nice. And it's not even like they're wearing like Tom Ford suits and stuff.
Right.
I can understand if everyone's going James Bond style, like Tom Ford suit. Like, okay, no problem. If everyone's going like Tom Ford, like to the fucking nines, like no problem.
Yeah.
But if like you could go in like your Marshall suit and like that's considered a suit, I feel like jersey is.
It was good to have a little flavor, and it was a custom piece. It's not like a.
Plus, it's like that's just I do things like my way, my style. Like that's how I've always been.
And you just did get it done. You didn't wear pants. You said you had the sandals on. You like to play in comfort.
I would have wore shorts. Yeah, that's the thing. I would have wore like shorts. I wanted to at least like have some like black pants on. Like
no, it was.
I looked like at least a bit proper.
It was very cool. It was very interesting to see the whole venue. I mean the production value, just amazing what they do. I actually had seen Lex Randy commentating. I check in Twitch a little bit, but I didn't realize I didn't understand the power of Triton, like the updates, their website, the whole thing they do. It's just everything is all
everything's really A plus all around.
To watch the replays, the video stuff,
incredible,
the graphics,
everything.
It's a treat. So that's it's good.
Yeah, I couldn't really say anything other than just like incredible from everything that they do.
It is nuts.
They're smart though, because I mean I think that's like the way to do it. If you want to like build a business and get appeal, like you do everything the best. Like I've always been a firm believer in just doing things the best always.
For sure, and it's nice because Paul and Rob Rob Young partnering with PartyPoker, but Paul Poa and Richard Young, that's the thing. They're like, oh well, this costs whatever. Like these others, nothing wrong. Like Stars, PartyPoker in these places, like there's budgets, there's things, like they're just like, oh, like we want the best, give me the best crew, give me the best thing, the best everything, the best thing.
Yeah, they're like PartyPoker and Stars, they're running corporate, which is like destroying them because they're trying to make, I mean, not like destroying, but they've made a lot of bad decisions. Not really saying like both, but I mean,
Party's got their stuff together right now. But I'm here.
Yeah,
you're right, though.
I agree. Like Party has like tried, but like Poker Stars on the other end, like haven't really made any good decisions over like the past few years. Try to make like every cut like possible that they can. Don't really care about like the players or anything. Like they just have like a good software, a good platform, like so people just still play there because they have a good player base.
It's interesting now because I want to. What do you think about the landscape? You hear that online sports is legal in the U.S. at a federal level, which is, and in terms of gaming, it's like you want to be responsible, but reality, we're living in like a sheltered reality. And look at the UK, look at most of the world. Like, listen, if you want to go put 5 pounds on your local sport, like everything's in moderation. If you want to bet and gamble, you're gonna find a way. If you want to get marijuana and it's not legal, like you're gonna find these things. So it seems like poker in general, the US, the landscape is getting better. Pennsylvania's passing, West Virginia's passing. People understand it's a skill game, demonstrating that these guys, the top players in the world. what do you feel like the landscape and the climate of poker is right now? Because the live stuff's growing. Online, there's solvers, there's this. Party's getting rid of HUDs and that, but where do you stand on
that's the thing. I don't think poker like necessarily like actually died. I think that the operators just didn't really know how to run these billion-dollar businesses and like know what to do to keep their players happy and to bring new players in. The thing is, PokerStars had like a complete monopoly on like that all they needed to do was offer everything that everyone wanted to play, and nobody could have competed with them ever.
Right.
If they added all the games that everyone wanted to play, made it a bit better for all the pros, like there would have been no chance for someone to compete with them. The thing is, mark my words, you're going to see it 2 years from now, PokerStars isn't going to be the #1 site in the world. Like, and it's not going to be Party Poker either, unfortunately, but
maybe.
Watch, 2 years from now, you'll see this video.
Listen, I agree that competition's huge. It's great for the game. It's good.
That's one good thing for it, at least.
Yeah.
At least it's created competition, and which is just good at anything in general. That might be what their thought was. They had like a monopoly of some sorts, and they figured that they were just going to press at maximum, that kind of nobody could compete with them at all.
Right.
But the thing is, that's never actually the case. Like, if you want to just press at maximum, you're just going to start getting competitors to come in at lower prices.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to touch a little more on the industry and what you think about online. But also I just want to make sure we cover this. Remco put this up really cool. This guy's pinned tweet up here talking about the rise when you started, where you were in the world and the all-time minus. So 7,523, 47, 1,000, 450, 333, 189, 90, 49, 20, 10, 4, and 1. So, I mean, that's a pretty crazy to see the run here.
What a steady climb. And the thing is, too, like, I mean, a lot of people, the one thing people say is, oh, you get like a big cash in one tournament or whatever. But the thing is, all the people who were in the top 10, like before this, except for me, all had these big cashes in $1 million tournaments too. And I was still up there anyway, with my biggest cash being $3 million this year in Triton. And before this year, biggest cash being like $2 million or something, winning $100K in Monte Carlo. So, I mean, I have like 55 million cashes, of course, but 35 of that is just from like, just cashing over and over again, where my biggest cash being 3, second biggest 2, third biggest 1.7. Like, yeah, I mean, just like results nonstop.
I mean, this 2019. So you go to Melbourne, you just rock the first place there. Then you go here and you got a 3 million, a 1.5, and a 2.7.
Well, look, I even stopped in Vegas and got like a little win too, like before.
Oh wow!
Like just like for fun, I was like, I guess I might as well go to the U.S. Poker Open and win like one of these for fun.
That's a nice floor.
Actually, it was amazing too because I had a party in Vegas on that exact date, and I remember I was leaving my friend Lauren Roberts' house where like I would stay. Lauren's like one of the best people for sure. She's amazing. A lot of fun. Yes, for sure, sweetest people.
Yes.
So like I was leaving that morning, and she had won actually the 10K the day before.
Yes.
And she's telling me like, oh, you better make it for your party. Yeah, don't worry, Lauren. I'm gonna win this one like before the party even starts. And like I won the final table in some like crazy record time in like an hour or something. Like it was wild. Just mangled the whole table.
You're exercising the secret, man. The positivity shit. That's a wild story. So you get the 450. You get 3 million in Tritons. Triton. I mean, the power of Triton is got to be known how big.
And I cashed in that like in the 50K one right before it too for like 500 or like. And just like to get a nice cash there also to get it going.
So yeah, this is then you win and then you go back to back there.
Because this one too, like me and Tim like played for some heads up, but we made a deal also. And the thing, like Tim won 3 like pivotal hands versus me. I like kind of lands. If you watch the recap of that tournament, like I destroyed this tournament from the beginning to the end. I made like a super gangster hero call against Tan Wan like at the beginning like. And just kind of made a lot of good bluffs and chipped up really nice with no showdowns. I lost a flip versus Tim to have 90% of the chips in play 3-handed or something, where Dan would have got heads up with me then. Then like again, I lost another hand where I flopped trip 3s or 4s on like 4-4-3 or it was 3-3 deuce, and he gets running 5s with like a 5-8 off, like winning some huge pot.
Damn.
Then like lose another one versus a flush on the river. So I kind of had that tournament and got unlucky. Kind of like I had this tournament and got like lost a few all-ins too. when it gets heads up is the thing. You could have a 5-1, 6-1, 7-1 lead and have crushed the whole tournament. All it takes is 2 lost all-ins and you're behind.
Yeah, it is. Heads up is a beast, right? Like it's never really over until it's over.
Yeah.
It doesn't, and just the chips start getting in, you get short stacked, 10 the money.
So I mean, I'm
on.
lucky. Like, good thing I made like a deal again. Like, actually, they told me the stats. I think it was going into this final table, I won either 7 of the last 8 or 8 of the last 9 heads ups I was in. And the only one I lost was to Tim that like we made a deal, and then I lost this one too. And I'm pretty sure I didn't make a deal in a single one of the other ones.
So you might be out. You might be out on the deal making.
So I'm like, I won like the last 7 of 9 heads ups and made a deal on the 2 that I lost and none of the ones that I won. So that's pretty strong. I would say. How can you complain about that one?
That's also running pretty sweet. But 20 million. Antonio Esfandiari had the largest cash in the history of the game, 18 million and change. You just locked up a 20 million cash and took the #1 spot. Is that to you like? I mean, how ridiculous does that sound? Like, did you ever imagine when you were playing, started online, you're talking about a $20 million one score? I mean, how does that like? How does that even? How do you put that into reality?
See, like it's crazy, but I feel like I just always set up a mindset. Like we were sitting at French Laundry, and I was sitting with one of my friends who was friends with me for a long time, like. Back when I was 18, 19, talking on MSN, one of the first people that I would talk with. And he was telling my mom at the lunch, she's like, yeah, you know what? Like, one thing about Bryn is, even at 18, 19 years old, he would always say, like, watch, I'm going to be the best in the world, like, at this game.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like, I kind of always just envisioned that and worked harder than everybody else. Like, win or lose, like, I just pretty much put 100% of my time into this game.
Right.
Like, playing all day, every day, like, only thinking about this, thinking about nothing else. Not like that's good for your life, but that's what made me so good at this game, of course.
What would be advice to someone if you're at home right now? Like, what would you say if they say they're looking here, and also just not to put a message out. Poker's gotten harder. There's different landscape. You don't just walk in today and you're going to be a winning player. What would be something you would tell someone who's like sees you and they say, oh wow, this is what I want. 55 million in earnings. He's living the life, traveling, whatever. How would you break someone down and explain to them if you wanted to get into poker? You have to have the right mind, right bankroll management, right kind of mentality. But what would be a piece of advice you would give someone at home who wants to start playing poker just on the journey?
Well, like one thing I kind of always would tell myself that I think like really worked through like rough times was like, just don't imagine that you're gonna run up a mountain. Just like if you want to get up a mountain, like you're gonna have to like claw and like work. And like you're gonna have to really show like you want to get there. Let's say it's something like a mountain like Mount Everest or something. Mm-hmm. You want to climb like that, you have to come prepared, you have to come smart, you have to have all like the right gear. You have to do it like the smart way.
There's even points where you have to stop for like a day. There's like to get acclimated to altitude. So it's similar. There's points you can't just like go from run
exactly.
Up, right?
So like there, if you want to do something, you have to prepare for it. Like if you don't come prepared, like you just don't really have a chance. So people imagine like, they try to imagine things like, oh, my luck is bad. If this didn't happen, like then I could have done this. Like as soon as you start thinking in negative ways, like if or would have or could have, and I'm unlucky because of this, and just starting to put like negatives on yourself, you're just gonna like sink as opposed to anything else. Because if you want to actually do well, you want to actually like build yourself to where you want to be, it takes a lot of work. It takes getting punched in the face over and over again, being able to take it, being able to have like your best friends turn on you, like all the people you helped out, be able to just like accept like everything. Like it's like a fight. Like I consider myself like a gladiator. Like I feel like we're in a video game, and I feel like, okay, when I was younger, one like
the
weird,
Matrix,
of course, like one weird thing always for me was, not even weird, I just kind of thought about it when I was older. Every single time when I was younger, what would be on TV when I turned it on was Gladiator. And it's like crazy. It was like every single time. Like I would always kind of fall asleep on the couch when I was like, let's say 16, 17, 18, 19, like in this age, I would just fall asleep on the couch watching some movie or something. And it was just, Gladiator was on so much more than anything else. And I think that I really just maybe even learned like from that. Like, hey, you could be someone who's on the absolute top. Something happens like out of your control completely to like kick you down to the absolute bottom. The question is like, now is when you're showing like, do you have the heart or not? Do you have what it takes to get yourself back, to make all the steps, like to get yourself where you want to be, when your mind is kind of used to already being there? You have to now forget about the past and say, okay, you were there, that's over. Like the only place you are is where you're at right now, and if you want to get there, it's just making good decisions every day, over and over and over again. Yeah. That's like really what it comes down to.
I like that. Yeah, I think Shawshank Redemption is one of mine. There's always on. I'd always see it, and it's the same thing. It's like you can't control what happens, right? It's like things are gonna happen, good, bad. It's not about what happens, how you react, and that's
how you can take it.
Yes, that's powerful stuff. We have. There's literally I've never seen. I showed my the Instagram questions that we put up. There was I think I've had 15 to 20 normally for a guest. There was 150 questions on Instagram. Twitter's the one where we have a giveaway, so gonna do that. We'll look at some of the Instagram ones. I think this is gonna have to be a repeat podcast guest in the future. We'll wait for your next maybe 10 million plus score. We'll do something fun around a big event. But let's go through here and just kind of look at some of the questions on Twitter, guys. If it's not too late, if you want to get eligible for the giveaway, going to give away 2 tickets. Before we kind of close out and go into this into the Twitter questions here, give me real quick what you think about. I thought it was interesting you said about HUDs, that you do not use a HUD when you play online. Is that because I know PartyPoker banned them now, which is interesting. It's sort of a bit.
I think it's bad for the game anyway. Online.
To have HUD, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so
it's only good for the professionals. So why could it be good for the game?
Right. And okay.
Any way that you give professionals an extra advantage is just bad for business. Why would you do it?
Right.
Pretty much in general, all business, you have to adhere to your VIPs.
Right.
Your VIPs are the reasons why your professionals are gonna play anyway. Mm-hmm. So but for me, everybody would just play with HUD, say oh, you have to do this. But the thing is, I just always did things my own way. I wanted to think. I would play with, let's say, on big days online for tournaments, I would never cloud my screen. Let's say it's a WCOOP main event or something. Maybe I'm playing 4 tables. I can see all the tables. Right. The thing is, I think it's so important about flow. You see someone lose a big pot in a tournament, they might just dust off their stack. If you're just max clicking and the tables are popping up and you're just seeing numbers, you don't know how the guys playing today. Maybe they play different on different days. Plus, the way it did great, I think for me is everybody else would think based on looking at numbers. So live would start being more of a learning curve, and then also if you do everything based on numbers, live you're also going to play the same style that you're doing everything based on, that the numbers are correct.
Right.
So which I don't think is the case at all. So I think that where everybody else practiced just by kind of studying something, I practice by playing tons and tons of boards versus tons of players and kind of trying different plays and winding up in more intricate spots than other people wind up in. So I kind of I'm just so comfortable on the turn and river, no matter what on every board, because I feel I've just logged so many hands of thinking at the highest stakes. Because the thing is, always the highest stakes, that's just what I've played.
Right. When
the high rollers were 10Ks, I was crushing those. When online high stakes was 2Ks, I was crushing those. Kind of whatever the highest stakes in poker was, I just always crushed. So the kind of type of hands that I always got was versus the best.
Right.
Never versus anyone else, which I think just helped me in a thinking level all the time of how to outthink the best.
Do you feel that you play very well exploitively against sort of non-pros? Do you feel you have an advantage versus some of the other pros? Do you pride yourself on hand reading ability, the range to know where people are and what they're capable of? Or
yeah, it's a lot of all that. The way that I really look at it is, if you think of yourself and start thinking about all poker players, and it's that you can't really get to even a handful of players who do well against you, I think that's when you're really crushing. Mm-hmm. I can't think of a handful of people that are actually doing well against me.
There's no, there's not. You go in these high roller fields, you're not looking around oh, I don't like my table.
It's kind of just no one. Even if they want to think that they're better than me, if they want to think in their head though, the hands that they played against me, maybe they want to say that it's small sample size and it's variance or something. But when it's happening over and over again versus all the best players in the world, I don't know what type of variance you're talking about.
For sure. Results speak for themselves, and it is cool to hear, like you said, when you look back on a lot of these are filmed. That's the nice part with the high roller scenes. A lot of them are televised. There's hands up. You can see decisions, see spots, and
that's the thing. I challenge anyone. If you think that I'm not the best poker player in the world, watch the videos of the tournaments that I won and watch the hands that I played. And if you still don't think so, okay, no problem. But I think you'll change your mind after that.
Hey, I mean, listen, the footage is out there. The results, you're in the number one spot. It's not too much you have to.
And it's not like, it's not like I'm saying, oh, it's just me. I'm saying, oh, like, go and watch it for yourself. You think I'm wrong? Like, okay, fine. Like, go and find me some hands that I like blundered then. Because you can find me a lot of hands that like I destroyed people over and over again, but
of course,
almost never really getting destroyed, never getting like superhero called in crazy spots, but at the same time getting like these bluffs through like in crazy spots. So like sure, like you could imagine that like I'm guessing right, but what I would like to call it is like I'm evaluating the situation better than everybody else.
What do you think of the randomizer stuff? Because this is something that gets it's sort of interesting that people use a lot. Do you do any of that kind of stuff?
I hate this randomizer stuff because
I didn't even understand. Like I started
because
hearing about it.
It's bad for me. I hate to hear that anyone's using it against me. To be honest, because I think people don't imagine, but I think I have such a good idea on how people play and how they think. That they're going to make the decision that I think that they're going to make if they have to make their own decision. Mm-hmm. Now, if they're like making it to like flipping a coin for it,
they look at the second hand and it's in the first quarter.
Like that's disaster for me. Okay. My game is all based on like imagining them to think.
You might have found the kryptonite.
But now, now people could try. So I guess like go for this too. You know, it's always like a leveling game since played some hood ones on this one, and everybody thinks like I'm too rich to care. Like, probably can't really try to get too many bluffs through anyway. Like in any small stakes tournaments, everyone's gonna think I'm bluffing.
Yeah, that's that could be an interesting problem.
So maybe the randomizer thing is gonna help me now. Actually.
All right, I like it. What's upcoming schedule for you? And then we're gonna go to some questions. What do you got coming up for the rest of the year?
So like I'm just gonna chill a bit right now till Barcelona. Like take like 2 weeks off. Just maybe go to like a spa in Switzerland or something. Actually, I was thinking, I was run down for the week after this. Like you could hear it in my nose and my throat. Like first it started in my stomach, then to my throat, then to my nose. It's been like a week. And also I never get sick or run down. So a week for me is like, it's actually never happened before. I've never even been run down for a week in my life. But I think I did such a good job like pushing every like emotion down, but still it was like festering like in there. I couldn't eat. I didn't really sleep much like last 2 days of the tournament. I was probably just so excited, and then at the same time telling myself that I wasn't excited at all.
Right.
Just like messed up my rhythm a bit.
Right.
So like I need to like just get myself back, like balance myself a little bit, like go to Barcelona. I'll go play the UK Poker Open in London after, and then the Super High Roller Bowl London.
So you're staying over in Europe for?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay over in Europe exactly. Then I'm not sure what I'll do in the second half of September, October, maybe probably like chill a bit. If they make another Triton event during this time, like I'll go wherever the Triton event is.
So Triton is like
Triton's the must go to.
The high roller, it's like a playground. The buy-ins and what they got going on, it's just a must play.
I wouldn't even mind if I didn't go to another tournament in the world now, to be honest, except for Triton. I love Aussie Millions. Actually, is like a great place, great time of the year. Like Aussie Millions does a superb job. Also, like the tennis tournament is the same time. Like the weather's great. Like Australia is amazing. It's a really good trip. Breakfast is like best in the world. Like the coffee is like best in the world.
Breakfast here too, but it is true.
Best in the world though in Australia.
I agree. Melbourne is one of the top spots. What do you think about the short deck? Before we do need to go into the questions, but the short deck stuff, that's a big part of the Triton. Almost basically half of the deal here. I saw you hopped in. One of the ones you played some side Tritons, short deck stuff. What are your thoughts on the game?
It's good. Like a good gambling game is the thing. So I mean, it's good fun. Right. Like the thing is, whatever game like the people want to play, like I think that's good.
So for a 100K short deck event, you haven't done too much work on it, or really, but you hop in, you mess around, you have a general feel for it.
Yeah, because I mean, I feel like I just can't really be, even if I'm like a loser in a tournament, I can't really be a big loser. Like maybe I'm a small loser. I'm just gonna see what the other what the other people who are supposed to be good at this game are doing. Maybe even pick some things out of their game that I don't like also, and then see like just kind of try to mold my own game. I feel like after 20 tournaments, even with never studying, never learning, I mean, it's just a tournament again at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. It's about like applying pressure at the right time, like folding the right hands, like playing
more
positions.
In the game, you're going to have more experience in these ICM.
Maneuvering, exactly.
Just making adjustments.
Like I saw some people make disaster plays, like ICM-wise in short deck, like horrible calls deep.
Yeah.
With hands like pocket tens that you should just never do.
Yeah, I saw a couple that I thought were bad, but again, I don't really know how to play, but it just seemed like obvious, like with the other short stacks.
Yeah.
Risking all.
So that's the thing. If other people are making like kind of disaster moves, even some of them are like meant to be good players.
Right.
But then it's got to be like a good game. Plus, you can never get it in too bad anyway.
Yeah, it is a fun game. It was. I was very impressed with some of the play, but also definitely saw some punters.
Yeah, some of the guys make some like really sick moves though too, for sure.
No,
have some finesse in there. Of course,
it was really fun to watch. All right, guys, there is a giveaway going on. If you go to my Twitter and hit retweet, ask Bryn a question. We are going to have to rapid fire through some of these, and I'll just kind of call some out. So we're asking how much time do you use to study poker. I guess I would actually ask you, if you were saying for yourself right now, like not talking PO or solvers, but study as in watch footage and stuff, what % are you playing versus studying?
To be honest, I never watched like footage in my life either.
So will you go back and watch this win or no?
I've like tried to watch footage of my own wins sometimes and like can't. But at the same time, like my studying, like that's been like my whole life anyway. Like how much do I study? It's like however many hours I had in the day, like that I was breathing. Like I would wake up, order delivery food, go to the computer, like start at noon, play till 3 a.m, and then go pick up some food and go to sleep.
Right.
Play like 15 hours a day, like all day, every day for probably like the first at least like 7 years. I mean, I was averaging for sure at least 10 hours a day for like the first like.
It's crazy.
Just playing all day, every day. That was my whole life. That's all I did. So like, how much do I study? Like, how much do I breathe? That's like the answer to that.
You're okay. So you're playing a fair amount of poker. When did you think that you could really be an excellent poker player? What was the point where because you're playing you did Magic the Gathering, got to #1 in the world at one point.
Like 15 and under, #1 in the world.
15 and under.
Because like I played this junior JSS series, like it was called.
Mm-hmm.
That they had this Pro Tour also, but while I turned like 16, I just didn't really care for it anymore.
For sure. So once you got in kind of Magic, when did you, or out into poker, did you know that this was like, you were pretty quick?
I'm just like competitive, and I'm like, I've always been good at like things because I put like a lot of effort into it.
Right.
So I just like enjoyed the competition always. So I don't know, I judge myself to like a harsher level. So I kind of always just thought that I would be good and I would make myself good.
Who was the funniest poker player you ever played against? Funniest, like just in general, table dynamic, how they interact.
There's almost no characters though, like in the poker, like
Jungle Man.
Yeah,
Jungle Man.
Jungle Man, yeah. Jungle Man is the best for sure. I fucking love Jungle Man.
Yeah.
Definitely, like I think the other like best character in poker is Jungle Man without a doubt.
He is something else. He makes me laugh just thinking.
I love Jungle. Oh my god, he is one of a kind.
He is that good. Net fun. What are your next goals? Greetings both. Thank you for the hello. What are your next? Do you have goals? I mean, hit #1. What do you?
I guess like my
next
next goals, like I would say, like aren't really in poker. Like, I mean, really, like my life goal always has been to build like money and a network, so that in the end of the day, I could do something that no one's ever done before. Like have more of a positive influence than anyone's ever have. Like
we have to cut this. We're gonna have to cut it short. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. Bryn is definitely he's got big ideas, and I know I can tell energetically what you want to do and how you are. You sort of align with that. You just want to do cool, fun stuff.
Yeah.
And promote and do
exactly. I want to do cool, fun stuff for me, and I enjoy making everybody else's life better around me.
Yeah, and it takes it's good. Like the first half of your life, or roughly, you gotta make the money, be comfortable, relax, and then you can kind of.
Anyway, the thing is, I think I mean because I've always been like so. I trust myself like so much just to like crush kind of anything I do. So the thing is, if you really want to have a huge positive influence on the world, it's going to take money and a network to do it, without a doubt.
Access,
like no matter what, like you're going to need like to have access some crazy network. So I mean, not even like I've tried to build a network. I just enjoy people anyway. I enjoy like having a conversation with like someone like Bill. Like I love to have a conversation with, like, and that I could play $1 million or 100K tournament and sit next to someone like that. Like that's what I love so much about poker. Actually,
I think personally the greatest thing about poker, really, there's so many things you can apply.
Or like Lauren, like Lauren's like such an interesting like unique person,
right.
Ran her own hedge fund, like turned down $100 million from like the royal family like there because they wanted her like her like algorithms, like like these are just like these are like unique people that don't exist anywhere, and you get to sit in a poker tournament and like talk to them and see their minds, see where they came from. It's like the most interesting thing ever. Where how else could you meet someone like Bill, and also at the same time get respect from someone like Bill or Lauren or people like in the same range? change. Like, unless if you're like the best in the world at poker or something else.
Right.
Because otherwise, I mean, not to say like that they don't want to talk to anyone, but at the same time, it's hard to gain like respect from people like that, especially respect on a level that like you're a good person, like crusher in what you're doing, intelligent. Because these are people who are complete crushers.
I think that's an important thing. That with poker, there's a lot of relationships you get. It's like golfing with someone too. It's like when you're already usually friends with them, you do that, but you learn a lot about someone. How do they handle the wins? How do they handle the losses? How do they treat you when they things? And
how do they treat other people?
Yes.
Honestly, one of the things that's most important to me, I don't really judge anyone for how they treat me, because everyone kind of treats me a different way.
Of course.
I judge everyone based on the way that they treat like the random person sweeping the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're gonna treat like the waiter disrespectful, like why do I want to be like around you?
That's
if
true.
you like think you're better than like someone else and act like it, like why do I want to be around you? Like I want to be around like good people or good times who like have respect for other people. Like that's what life's about. Like respect everybody. Like there's no reason to try to shit on anybody. Like even if you think you're above someone, why would you try to like put someone else down?
Right.
Like if you're above them, enjoy it. Like keep your mouth shut. Like, and if you can, give someone like a word of advice if you can. I've heard from a lot of people that just like a line from me or just something like really just changed their outlook and their mindset like for life, got them on a good path, let them see like, oh, you can get like knocked down to the bottom and build yourself up if you're smart, if you're strong. Like, hey, look at this guy's done it over and over again. Like,
right. Well, it's like it's paying it forward and just in general, not even pay it forward, but just you don't know how you could impact like literally how you are or be to someone could impact like how they are then when they go home or how they
I love that. I want to only have like positive influences on anyone. So like at the same time, I'm happy to like help anyone. If anyone really like wants to ask me about something, I'll listen and like I'll answer. Like I don't think like, oh, I'm better like because I'm like winner and you're not. Like I don't really care. Like I did a different route. That's the way I think of things. I put all my focus and my energy to be exactly like what I am, and that's like made me what I am. So like another person, like they lived a different life. They put their energy and focus into something else. There's no reason for me to like judge them harshly for like anything of it. Like only thing I should judge them for is if they're a good person or not, because really that's all that matters.
That's true. It's I love how you answered that. This is funny because Bryn and I haven't played as much recently. I've been doing a different bit. Someone's asking. There was a hand that I remember from the PCA 10K or 25K. We were in the money or on the bubble. Maybe it was right in the bubble. And I had kings in the big line. It was like I forget the guy, Scooby's cousin. What's his name? The Russian.
Oh, Eugene.
Eugene. But he opened and I shoved kings. But then afterward, I talked to you and you were like, yeah, you know, off that, I had like 13 blinds. You should just call there. And then I thought about it. And then like now I see. But that was like cool. Like gave you some advice in game. And then I remember I think I even shoved on you and I had like king 8 off and you had queens and I had a king and then I ended up like doing well, but just funny, you're like giving me advice and talk to me like during and right after like what you would do.
That's the thing.
Wow, that's interesting. I use that.
I've given like a lot of people like advice. Like me and Carrie, the way that we became friends actually, we would just play the Aria tournaments and he would always be very friendly to me, like always have a good time. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I started texting him some hands that I had. I was like, I had this here. But I told him too, I said, hey, look, I'll tell you like some hands.
Yeah.
I'm happy to like give you some info, tell you like when you mess up a hand or something. One thing you have to like promise though is that you never like tell the hand like to anyone else. Because a lot of these guys, they would never expect that like I wind up with some of these hands in some of these spots because they've never seen it on a stream and I've never got called.
Right.
Because that's like another thing. Like nobody really knows like what your actual range is. It's just like a guess.
Right.
It's the way they've seen you play on the stream and the cards that you've actually shown.
Right.
Like that doesn't. Who knows for the cards that like you mucked?
Spots,
Like a lot of the cards that like I've mucked. For sure, you could pick like the guys who think they know the most of my game, and there's no way they would think that I was doing these type of things.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely powerful. It's true. So yeah, again, I don't know. We could ask. I haven't played with Bryn in a long time personally, but yeah, what do you think of Jeff's poker skill level? But we haven't.
It's like impossible for me to answer since we like never play. But the thing is, you do a good job of surviving and playing high stakes. So you're no matter what. The thing is, all that matters in poker is if you're good compared to the games that you play.
Yeah, you could be the 10,000th best in the world if you're playing with the 100,000 through a million.
Exactly, then you're crushing them.
You're the 10th best in the world, play with the best.
Exactly.
You're not. I think that's important.
Exactly. So like even if like let's say even if you're like 100th best like in the world or something, and you're playing all high rollers versus like all the best in the world, like you won't do well. But then if you're playing with all the guys who are 200 to 500, you're gonna keep winning, of course. So I mean, way more important than like what's your poker skill is what is if you have a good grasp on what your poker skill actually is.
Right. And
like if you rate your poker skill way higher than like it actually is, and you try to play games for no reason versus the best, like you're just kind of going to drown yourself. So it doesn't really matter how good you are. It matters like how good you are at selecting the games that you should play.
Game selection for sure.
Yeah.
I see that answers a couple of questions about tips. We did talk about this and what you would suggest to up and coming players. We covered that. What does it feel to be like? What's number one feel like? How's it feel?
It feels crazy for sure. I mean, I always said that I would get number one. I guess I've been telling like my friends since I've been young that I would be the best in the world at this game, and I mean, it really shows that if you dedicate yourself to something, like you could just get whatever you want. That's what I would tell anyone. If you really want something, like you can get it. But the thing is, like, how much do you actually want it? Mm-hmm. Like, because if you don't really want it, you should just like go home right now. Because,
right. Do something.
Like leave it to like someone else because like you have no chance. But like if you really want it and you want it more than everybody else, I mean, I just think I wanted it more than everybody else. I always said I was going to be the best. I was going to be number one. I spent all day, every day playing poker, thinking about poker, like nonstop. I mean, even I got like Supernova Elite like few years, playing like sit and goes all day, like going from like having $1 million rolls to not. So I would have to get Supernova Elite just to make like the extra 150K a year or something, just to like get some print going again. So the thing is, I've also, like, other people, they'll go on downswings and they'll feel it too. You can see it in their face.
Yeah.
For me, like, downswing, what does that matter? Like, I'm used to being in, like, negative millions, winning big tournaments and paying off all of it. Like, what the hell could a downswing mean? Right. Like, I've won huge tournaments. In, like, 2017, I won, like, every tournament. I probably had the most consistent year in 17 that anyone ever had, just, like, winning tons of tournaments for 300, 500 million. Like, I mean, Justin and Fedor both cashed for, like, more in years. But, like, they had big cashes in few tournaments. Like, but if you see, like, my list is just, like, all just consistent throughout the whole year, first throughout the whole year, and just, like, kind of everything.
Yeah. No, I've seen the graphs. I've looked it up. It is crazy. You guys can always go to Hen and Mob and check out. We're running out of time here. Bryn does have to get going here, so anytime we can close it off here. It's getting pretty late. But this is actually, is it only? Oh, good. It's 4:30. It's not too bad. How does toughest opponent? I don't know. A lot of guys don't like to answer this because like you battle with people. But do you feel
actually like against me the toughest opponent? I think is like the one who's done the best against me because I've thought about it, and even when we were talking about it, he thought that ours were like close. So that's the thing, like. Dan Smith, I think, has made the most correct decisions against me, actually. Because I think he plays like he'll play like a GTO type of style, but he has no problem like hopping out of the box and just like saying fuck it and doing something like others wouldn't, which does well against me.
Right.
I want someone to have a structured thought process. If you have a structured thought process and I have a good idea of your ranges and how you play, I feel like I have a great chance just to dissect it and do so well against it.
Interesting.
But if your thought process, I mean, the way that I always thought about things is the best style to play against my style is to keep pots small and stay away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
like play hands in position, no reason to create big 3-bet pots, like, because I mean you're just going to wind up in a bad spot for all your chips on the river like a lot. And I mean there's just really no reason to go against someone who's like so confident at like the top of their game and just like feeling in a complete zone. Like if your goal is to win in poker, like you should want to do the most you can to stay against the person who's feeling the best.
Right. And you say the cards don't matter, and you also say that you don't mind lighting ICM on fire. You'll go for it. You'll go for a spot or a win if you feel it. Like you're not worried if you're.
It makes people scared of you too. Is
if
the
you're
thing.
2 of 7 and you're willing to just go for it.
You have to be like if you're fearless, then people are just like scared to play big pots against you. Is the thing.
Right. Yeah, and once you set that tone as well, then it's like once they're scared. You kind of can just have a little more.
You just have an advantage no matter what.
They kind of.
If people are thinking that you're going to put them all in on the river, if you wind up on the river against them, a lot of people just are going to try not to make it to the river against you.
Right. Your first tournament, you got second. That was at Turning Stone. How did you end up at Turning Stone? I talked to Dan Smith. I think it was.
Well, that was like a spot where all the young guys went because. You know, you could play online at 18, but you couldn't play in a live casino at 21. But Turning Stone was 18 and older, so like. everyone was going there at 18, 19, 20, so they could play like a little poker.
Yeah, I would go to Canada.
A lot of like the originals of like the game were up in like Turning Stone. A lot of like the original crushers, like the Aussie 87 and Mr. Smokey and Empire 2000. And like, yeah, a lot of like.
Oh, talk about the screen and this guy who gave you he either staked you. I mentioned his name. What was his online name? There was some guy, and then he went to Commerce. You hit a score. He staked you.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I was like 21. No, I mean I was like 20 and playing at Commerce. Like they actually never asked me for an ID. Like
what's the window gap? I think we're out of the statute of limitations.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, anyway, I wound up like winning a lot and losing it all back. So, but this guy, like, his name was Zach Stewart. Monkey 101 was his name online. Right. Like, so I pretty much just met him 1 year at PCA. So I was almost 21 anyway, actually. So I was 20 at PCA, and I remember I like lost my whole role like there, and just I had happened to just hang out with him, like smoke in his room, just like he would play online. We were kind of like playing together a bit, just like talking, chilling, and he like went on a run here. So I go back to New York. Actually, I didn't lose my role there. Maybe I had just a little bit left, but I go back to New York. I remember I lost like the little bit I had left, maybe like 20K or something. So I told him, and he's like, "Oh, why don't you come out to LA? Like, I'll stake you, no problem." So I come out there. Just for 3 days, he stakes me. I win like 40K, take my 20, and just start firing it myself.
I read that somewhere.
And just like in that month, I think I remember perfectly. In the first 3 sessions, I like broke even. I won once, lost once, and like tied one session. I remember even I got it because I would always play aggressive. I got all in. I remember in like 2040 for like all the money I had for like 40,000 pot with like ace king versus ace 10 off. Like the guy just like cooked it in, and we ran it twice. Or no, we ran it once. We just like chopped the pot or something. So that was like after the 3 sessions though, I won 35 straight days in a row.
So that's the stat, like 30 something.
Yeah, something like 35 straight days in a row, played every single day. After the first week, I was playing the biggest game in the casino every single day. That was kind of where like I went on my first like big run.
So you do have a cash background too.
So I mean that was all like in no limit cash in that year too. Like before that, I went on some runs playing like heads up no limit, like battling 4 tables. I mean, I for sure did well in heads up no limit also. Like guys like Phil Galfon like played me 1 time in no limit, 1 time in PLO, quit like the both sessions. And like I remember the no limit session against Phil Galfon, and it was honestly like some of the biggest just owns I've ever seen. Just like played so sick. I think I only beat him for maybe 70K in like 100, 200, 2 tables or something in an hour. But he got so lucky to just lose like 70.
And he just
tried like PLO 1 time, like after that just like never played again. Like kind of, so I got respect from people in the highest stakes cash, people in the highest stakes tournaments always. Like, so then that year I went on a big run playing live cash, then kind of did a bunch of like lost it all in other ways, like same things saying I would do, and then spun it up online. That was the same year that like I spun it up on full tilt to like 3.5 in PLO.
You mentioned your downswing. So when you have these kind of, let's say, how many times did you say you've gone from like plus $1 million or 1 million, let's just call it, to 0 roughly, in theory, because you're always in action. I guess that's the thing. Like you can always, if people want to stake you, they want to have a PC
or even just like loan, because I've loaned like a lot of people a lot of times too. Like when I was doing well, so if they were doing well, they would loan me also, and just know like when I win, I'm gonna insta pay it back. I'm like. So I'm never gonna need to like message me. I'm trying to think. It's at least like 5. It's like 5 to 7 or so.
And how do you deal with that? Because like it's always easier. You win 20 million, you're number 1 in the world. You could, everything's fun.
You just have to like accept it. That's the thing.
But it doesn't.
No matter how big it is, you have to just like accept it. So like my worst one. I went to sleep one night thinking I had $1 million. I wake up the next day, like I have to pay my whole $1 million and owe about another 2 million or something. Because I guaranteed for like some deal that just went completely wrong, like in business, torched everything like an idiot. So literally I went to sleep one night being like, oh wow, it's nice. Like 6 months ago, like was bust. Now I have $1 million again, like chilling. Okay, perfect. Can make good decisions. Wake up the next day, like completely fucked, like just like negative 2 mil. And just the thing is, you have to just convince yourself that you have to make the right decisions is the only thing. So this one, it took me like a week. I was in London. I rented like a sick apartment, 3-bedroom apartment. I didn't leave at all. I just smoked, watched movies, turned off my phone, and ordered delivery food like for a week straight. And I just told myself, like, hey, look.
During this tournament?
No, this is during, like, right when I went from, like, $1 million to negative 2 mil. So, like, I pretty much just told myself, hey, look, no matter what, when you leave this apartment, you have to forget about it. Like, you have to move on. You have to just make the right decisions. You have to just forget about it. You can't complain. You can't be down. You can't say if, that, the other, I'm unlucky, this or that. You have to just go after it and fight hard and try to get yourself back. If it takes you 2-3 years to, like, get back, then, like, so be it. That's just what you're going to have to do.
So you're 32 right now?
Yeah.
32 November 1st, 33.
Yeah.
So is this Bryn Kenney now where you're at? You took a shot, like this year's been crazy. You took a shot in Montenegro too, didn't you? A couple of those you had like bigger.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm always doing okay, I'll always try to have like the most I can.
Right. So you're this now though. You've gone broke several times. This
it's
is
not going to happen again.
You got your stuff situated.
No, it's
away.
we're good. No, it's done. Like
okay,
there's no more like going broke. There's no more even gambling or doing stupid shit. Like
right. Maybe a short deck tournament here. And
yeah,
there.
exactly. A few like spews, a few coin flips here and there. Splash a little in the pot, but nothing stupid that could hurt you.
And what about so do you still stake any players? Do you take action? Do you rather do that?
I mean, I stake like a few of my friends because it's just like in the end of the day, as long as they're not gonna like cause me like grief and be like complainers and do like I'm happy to like help my friends too, like and try to help them in different ways, like if they should win, also if they're working hard, but at the same time, like I have no room for like people complaining or people like just bring negativity.
Saying,
If you no problem. You're makeup. Yeah, have a nice life. Like you want to be like negative, talk about like nonsense, always bring up like bullshit. Like okay, cool. Like see you later.
Right. No,
like just have no time, no room for it.
Absolutely. All right, I'm in line with that. So you've answered that. Who was the toughest player? What about the Triton series? Who do you think that you battled with a few times? Did anyone really impress you? Maybe you had to play with. What about from the Asian side too? I saw some questions here about that. There's some. How do you feel like they overall play?
Actually, like when one person who I played with, only a little, but when I played, I was like, damn, this guy Elton Sang. Mm-hmm. I mean, he sits down with me the first time. Me and him both have chips, and this guy just relentlessly starts 3-betting me every hand. And the thing is, that hasn't happened in a while. Where like I can remember a few in my career where someone will just like go after me relentlessly, like 3-betting.
They're just taking the whole.
But I was just like, wow,
jacks,
like
King Jack
I mean, probably way more than whatever the whole range is. He's probably getting back to the old school days and 3-betting me with 8-6 suited and stuff.
Right. And like, he just went for it against you.
Yeah, he's just like that was like, respect, like nice. That's the thing, just like respect for people who just like make aggressive moves. Like look at Wykin, like won another title like this week, like almost won a second title this week. I think that's his third Triton trophy. Like he beat me heads up in one in Manila where that was his second trophy. I'm pretty sure the one year was his third and he had a chance for his fourth.
No, he won the 100K main event.
And got second in the short deck. And then also Paul like got heads up with like that's strong also like got heads up was making also Paul is deep in a lot of the tournaments too, always winding up like at the end.
Yeah, he got a second and fourth in the mains. It's pretty sweet.
Anyway, it's all about like improving. So the thing is a lot of the people who play the Tritons, especially on the Asian side, they're not really used to playing poker on the highest level. They're used to playing against a bunch of other VIPs also. So even if you're going to improve and get better, it's still going to be a learning curve of understanding how people think and playing against the best as opposed to playing versus a bunch of VIPs because it's completely different.
Absolutely.
Which at the same time was why like I love this tournament for me because I just think that if you put both together like pro and VIP, I just think I'm the clear best of like playing versus like both like sets. Maybe someone's better just playing against VIPs than me. Maybe somebody's better just playing pros than me.
The hybrid.
Okay, like sure, but when you put it together, I really just love myself. And I mean, every time, if they run this tournament again next year, I'm going to post the same thing. Like, whoever wants to bet against me, like, action's open.
What's your perfect high roller tournament? This was £1 million.
Perfect.
Is this the right number?
Million pound, no re-entry, like, dream.
Just a
maybe like, or like 500K re-entry, or like 300K re-entry, or like 1 million freeze out, like perfect. I think that's perfect buy-in.
And someone's asking here about balance. We've talked about this. You do step away. You don't just play every event, every series. You really sit back. You'll take time, travel, do what's important.
Yeah, enjoy myself. Go eat at nice places. Just like breathe. Go into like the mountains. Like go for a swim. Like walk around. I haven't been so good at it recently, but I try to even put my phone down like one day a week and just do like a no electronic Saturday, which I've been a bit busy, but I'm going to try to get back into that a bit.
No electronic Saturday?
Yeah.
I've heard of Taco Tuesday now, right? But I've never heard of a
yeah, mine's the no electronic Saturday.
That's a wild, that's interesting. Just choose a day and just totally just
yeah, I mean, I loved it. The few days I did it, just like hang out on the beach, like not be bothered by like any distractions. Like, I mean, perfect. To be honest, like one of those days was one of the best days of my life even.
That's awesome. Have you done any, what about meditating, yoga, workout routines? Do you have any do you like to try to go to the gym when you're playing?
No, I can't. I like to, the thing is I just can't really get myself to, because you have to wake up early-ish. I want to like just be relaxed. The whole thing for me is to be relaxed. Mm-hmm. So like my type of relax isn't like running around and getting myself all worked up. I feel like running around and getting yourself worked up, that gets you like too like ready for the thing. Like me, I want to more like just sit back, like breathe a little bit, have a coffee, a J, like drink some water, like eat some good food, and then like go play when you're feeling like it.
So what's the latest registered tournament? What do you feel is?
I guess last minute.
That's you would fire like you're so you don't mind coming late at all.
No. I'm even for like that. You should be able to buy in for like 10 bigs in any tournament. Why not?
Gets the prize for a little juicier and it's a high risk.
Yeah, if people want, exactly. If people want to come in for 10 blinds when they have like no room and they got to win 2 all-ins in a row, even to like be in the tournament, okay, sure, like no problem, go for it.
I think it's probably overall it evens out, right? It's good for the tournament, but if you get a good player gets late, maybe it's dangerous.
Well, you could cap like the re-entries also, and like let people buy into a certain amount, because some people might just want to buy in their first bullet like super late. A lot of like businessmen, the thing is, that's why they love like the 1 or 2 day tournaments. Like anything more than 3, that's a lot for someone who's super successful to like commit to.
Max. No one,
3's the max. Bill, and if it has to be a huge tournament for them to do like 3.
Bill literally looked at it when he was leaving. He was like, "How long is this Triton main event?" And he was like thinking of hopping in. And it's like, all right, just he wants like.
Yeah. If it was more than 3, for sure he wouldn't have played. I think.
Yeah, and then how long do you think it'll take for you to be deposed as the all-time moneyless winner? I think you did say you will. Once you get the spot, you'll never be taken off. Obviously,
that's what's gonna happen.
And like if this tournament happens again, like there's a handful.
It'll be hard. Yeah, it'll be hard though. Still, a handful of guys that'll like have to win it too.
Right.
Like while I didn't do it, because I mean, looking at like the list, like there aren't even many people with 20 mil that could catch me.
Right.
What are there? 3 people that can catch me with 20? Maybe 4 people or something.
There's not a lot.
Even with like 20 mil, that's to say like I don't cash for anything too. Right. Like the thing is, I'm gonna play all the like biggest buy-ins. I'm gonna max bullet, however many it costs. Like these super high roller bowls, like the one in the Bahamas and the one in London. These are all like max re-entries. Yeah, like, the thing is, I mean, it's going to be hard for anyone to catch me because I'm just going to fire the highest stakes. And I mean, as people could see, like on the stream, I feel like my poker game is just like at top level right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions
and
here.
Like mindset also.
For sure. We're getting a lot of questions that we've covered. We've covered a lot. We're going to have to let... I mean, honestly, it's scary what I've seen on Instagram, the questions. There's a record. I don't know if we're going to get over there. What's the favorite food? Give us that. Give us a couple of these easy ones.
My favorite food goes between like Italian and Japanese food. Like, I would say if you're talking about like one meal, maybe I don't know. It's close actually because I became such a big fan of Japanese now. Before I would say for like one meal Italian, but now maybe it's Japanese then Italian now.
Japanese. Any recommendations here in London?
No, there was a place in London. What was the name? Oh, it was called the Iraqi. But what happened was like a good sushi chef from Japan. His daughter came to graduate school here, so he decided to move to be closer to her and open up a restaurant here, which became a 2 Michelin star restaurant. But she graduated and he went back to Japan. So the thing is actually with sushi, the most important thing by far is the sushi chef. By far, it's just how you cut the fish, like is what it comes down to. if you're like a master, that's how you're gonna get the best fish. So
Vegas, what's your favorite sushi spot?
Kame for sure, by
I don't
far.
think I've been that one. Kabuto,
Oh, you have to go to
Raku,
Kame.
I like a lot. I'll check.
Oh, you'll like Kame more than.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, good to know. I'm gonna definitely
Go check out my boy Eric at Kame.
Kame, K-A-M-E.
Yeah, it's the best one for sure.
All right, well, there you go. If you're in Vegas, check that out. Lowest point of your poker career, is it one of the times you went broke? What's one that stands out where you like? Did you ever feel?
I mean,
this is like not for me. Like this
no,
is
not really. It's not for me. But there were like 2 points. This one that I was talking about in London, where I went to sleep with like thinking I had $1 million and woke up like having negative like millions. There's another point I remember. I was probably like -4 or 500K or something at the time, like owing to my friends, and it had been the longest time that I hadn't won. So I remember, and I've always been very positive, but I remember there was one night where I was saying to my ex-girlfriend, Anna Marquez, like, I literally said, like, what if I never win again? And like, these words have never like came out of my mouth. I've never like thought like that. But the thing is, like, anyone can just, like, these can come into your mind no matter what. It's just like all about just saying, okay, like, let's just get rid of this. Like, what came into our mind? It doesn't do us any good to be here. Like, let's just throw it out the window.
For sure. That's powerful. So someone's asking, you often use intuition, which, I mean, that's sort of what poker.
I guess, that's poker itself.
How many winning tournaments live? And you guys can always go to Hen and Mob. Be able to 100% focus. Ask them about weed and smoking. You definitely on Instagram, we see here, and you do your stories. You do a lot of. This is a lot of winter photos and fun stuff here, but there's Instagram stories. You always show us a glimpse into your
in
day.
the stories.
Yeah.
Hold on, we got something at the bottom here. Look.
Where at?
Let's go all the way to the bottom
of the IGs.
Yeah, of the IGs.
Let's see here.
There you go.
Oh.
There's my #1 fan right there.
Wait, what do we got? Oh, that's the grandma?
Yeah, that's the grandma. #1 fan.
Oh my goodness, where is she? That's amazing.
She's the best.
Where is she, in New York?
Yeah. Man. So this is like 4 years ago, yeah.
Wow, that's something. That is quite a photo.
So I mean, the thing is, like, smoking is different for different people. Like, some people could never like smoke and play on a high level. And then for me, I don't know. I just do what I think gets me into like the proper focus. So like for me, it just keeps me relaxed, just like in a very zen mindset and kind of ready to battle.
But is it like for you, is that like part of your routine almost every time, or not? You don't have to.
Well, no, I don't have to, because like there are spots in Asia where you can't really get it. I'm not like gonna be stupid. If I'm in a country where you could go to jail for like smoking, like I don't really have any interest in smoking that.
You don't.
The one fortunate thing I have is I don't have like I'm not like hooked to it. I know other people who smoke like as much as I do, and they can't like not smoke. They'll go to a place and they can't even eat if they don't have anything to smoke. Fortunately for me, I can go like in and out and be fine.
What do you feel about this statement when people say each of the players in their 1 million pound had 5 to 10% tops, maybe a little more? When people say, I mean, generally I feel
that's just like people hating
just
anyway.
Hate, right? Like, oh,
yeah, people are hating anyway. It's not like people only had 5 or 10%. There were also like some times where people could only maybe take maximum like whatever percent of themselves if they wanted to play the tournament.
Right.
Like, the thing is, you're offered like with the opportunity. It's not like you can say, "Oh, I want to have 100% of myself." So it's like a stupid thing to say. If it was a tournament that anyone could play, then you could say, "Oh, these guys are soft for taking like small piece." But I feel like most of the pros even just like took whatever piece they could of themselves.
Right.
Maybe they swapped some with each other, but like they took whatever of themselves that they were able to.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. That's like sometimes it's like capped. Like guys like have to get in there. Maybe they have to give a piece to the other guy, or whatever. It's not even like.
Or they have a staking deal or something. Yeah. So whatever they're getting, they're only getting half of that. Or maybe they sell to someone always. So even though they only have a small piece here, they still kind of got to break this guy off with a little bit because he buys of every tournament.
Right. There's always there's stuff you don't really know.
Yeah, so many different things.
What? Is this Gladiator, the movie you watched over and over the rest of your life? That's the one you like?
I guess so. That's my movie.
That's what you go to. What's the most you've lost in a day, week, month that you've won or lost? Well, the tournaments we see. So how about lost in a day, like from playing, I don't know, cash game?
Maybe like 400 or something, like 400 or 500. I remember like a day in Bobby's room where I feel like I lost like 400 or so, like playing in a game with like Kenney Tran, like Rick Solomon, like crazy game. Elke was in there. was a wild, huge game, like straddling every hand to huge amounts.
A little with Rick last night.
I love Rick. He's the best.
He makes the game big. That's for sure.
Rick is a complete legend.
Animal. Do you think recreational players play better than some regs in the million? Does that happen on a given day? I guess someone brings it.
Yeah, I mean, of course, because the thing is, people can be like on their A game and like other person could just nod anyway. Or if you just make a big blunder, also this could be for your tournament, where like someone's playing like more solid and doesn't make a blunder, and you do.
Yeah. Right. Okay. We'll take a couple more, and then we're gonna let Bryn. You got a big day today. You know, even though it's kind of fun, you got stuff lined up. So we appreciate you taking the time. We'll do a couple more here, and get running. What are you gonna do with so much money? Do you have any? Is there a type of house or thing you want to do right now? You want to do business stuff? Like is there in particular that's changed a little bit? I mean, it's obviously a massive score.
I kind of just don't want to like push anything is the thing. I want to keep doing like things how I've been doing them. Right. Like it's going very well. Just because I have like a lot more money, like I don't want to make it change like anything about me or my life. So to be honest, I don't really think it changes much. Like I always treat myself well. The thing it changes maybe is I could do like few more things. Like I could pay for my sister's law school. I paid for my sister's law school. Like can pay for like credit card bills of like family, which I've done like many times before. I can buy everyone a new car. Like I could just make a little
extra splash action.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, you have your base set. You're not worried. You're not
exactly. Yeah, not gonna do anything stupid. Just like stay in like good mindset, good flow.
I love the word flow, man. That's a good word. That is the word.
Yeah.
I like that. What's the biggest non-poker related bet you've ever made? Do you bet? Do you do any bets like friends, side bets?
I mean, I guess it was just like that weight loss bet that I made. That was for like, the biggest bets that I made, I guess, was in this tournament.
Right.
Does it say non-poker related?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, so non-poker related? I guess it was that weight loss bet that I had to lose 65 pounds in 4 months and then keep it off for 2 months more.
Did you win?
Yeah, I won, and they thought that there was no chance that I could win.
Nice.
But like, I just got to show that like you have the heart is the thing.
Yeah, sometimes I always bet on the man on these.
I did it all natural. Like I didn't want to do anything unhealthy. Like I just ate super healthy and just spent 3 hours in the gym a day. I would get a massage like I was pushing plates on the floor, doing cardio, steam room, getting a massage every day, or like every other day massage, just to literally beat the knots out of my like system.
So yeah, don't
so
play
like
against you. That's what
that's the thing. Like if I'm like I'm just like here to play.
What's up next? Talk about, do you play mixed games?
Yeah, of course. I have a bracelet in 10 game, which is the only bracelet I have.
There you go. So how old are you? We know he's 32, almost 33. Is poker still profitable?
Of course.
That's hard to argue with. Awesome, good, appreciate it. Honestly, someone's asking about, Triton, Joe, you feel very strong. You love the brand, you love what they were.
Yeah. I mean, I love the people involved, like all around, like just really nice, like cool people. Like, yeah, I love what they're doing all around.
All right, we're gonna do a giveaway here. We're gonna let Bryn select this, and then we will let him run along. Is there any other stuff you want to talk about? You got so Twitter, Instagram. You guys know it's Hen and Mob. We mentioned you got some projects in the works. You want to do business. You want to do some fun stuff. Is there any teasers or any genre of business that you're looking to go into overall? I mean, to give back, or what kind of stuff do you see?
Well, like the give back more is like to be able to build a big business so that you can give back. Like that's the whole thing, because you can only give back if you have. So it's more about like trying to focus on like a few things, like kind of don't want to give any spoilers, unfortunately. I would like to, but
okay,
when you're working on something hard,
right,
like, or if at all, like you don't really want to, there's no point to like talk about it so much. Like you kind of like do it and then talk about it after.
Right. That's
because like you don't want to be. The thing is, if you're preemptive on things, like you put extra pressure on yourself.
That's true too.
So if I tell everybody, hey, I'm gonna do like this and this, and it's gonna be so big, I just have like extra added pressure for no reason. The thing is, that's what I believe for sure. Like I'm gonna build something that's gonna be very, very big, but like I don't want to add the pressure on myself, because I feel like if I do, it gives me just like a component to think about that just shouldn't be there at all.
That makes a ton of sense. All right, we're gonna do one of these right now, and they'll do one later. We're gonna give away a $55 ticket here. Bryn's gonna make the selection, and someone's gonna gonna win that. And then Bryn, we will have to. When's it? So you're going to Barcelona, and then you're in Europe for a while, and then when are you back in the U.S.?
I guess for like the Poker Master in the beginning of November, and then for like the Party Poker Bahamas in the middle of November.
Okay, so I'll see you there. I want to go to the sushi spot in what do you call it? What's the one in how do you spell it? In Vegas. What's the place called?
Oh, Kame.
We'll go out next.
Yeah, you have to go there.
Where do you actually live? New York?
Nowhere.
You are literally, you're officially on the run.
Yeah, for like 10 years or so it's been. But I haven't spent more than like 3 months in a year in any city for the past 10 years.
So you actually, like, your physical managership, your home, parents' home, or your house in New York?
I've kept like luggage in multiple places, like kind of all my life. So actually, so let me think right now where I have stuff. Yeah. So actually, I have stuff.
Like units or storage places, or friends or something.
Yeah, friends or girlfriends. Sometimes you like leave stuff there, you don't get it anymore. Right. But like,
yeah, what? Give me
like I left stuff in like London and like Malaga that like I never got anymore. Like now, still I've got like stuff in London, Miami, New York, Vegas, Toronto. Amsterdam.
Stuff like what, monitors?
No, like suitcase, like at least
clothes.
like a suitcase or 2 suitcases, like stuff.
Okay.
Some computers
it's kind
around,
of nice
some
that
monitors.
You travel
Yeah.
light. You like leave it in the closet. You go see your buddy.
Or just buy like some new stuff. Like
yeah.
I like to treat myself nice too. Buy yourself some new clothes if you need.
It's nothing. You gotta invest in yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta treat yourself first, then you'll do your best.
Manicure, pedicure guy, facial massages. You do massage a lot.
Facial massage, I like that. I haven't gotten too many facials in my life, but I'm down for them for sure.
Keep it fresh.
Like facial or like pedicure, manicure. I think I haven't done too much either, but at the same time, like I wouldn't really say no. Like I'd be down to do it.
You do the massage, though. Really think it relaxes you, and that's part of your routine.
Yeah,
nice. That's good. I agree with that. That's
even stretching too. Actually, a friend of mine who does like, so in Japan they have it's called Dr. Stretch. They have like stretching places.
Never heard.
Where
of
all they do is stretching. It's like just to get your muscles loose. I actually have a friend. My friend is coming for a month in Barcelona and London with me just to do like stretching.
That's awesome.
Like for me and my friends, like
I believe that.
I have my trainer. I have a friend coming too to be like my personal trainer in like Barcelona and London.
If you can't spend like 5, say 10 minutes where you can just take out your day to kind of relax and like loosen up. Whether it's meditate or take a little time to sort of reflect it's just you're too busy. You got too much going on. You gotta decompress.
Yeah,
you gotta have like a little you time. So
for sure,
that's important. All right, well, let's do this. Let's do this giveaway. The Instagram. I will. I think we'll get to that, guys. We have we can do a multiple podcast guest. Just tell me when. We'll count this down. Someone is going to win 55, and then we'll do a second one later because we can only do one per day per one. But tell me when. Someone's going 55 ticket, Bryn, on your watch here. Just tell me when.
Oh, no.
You ready? Boom. It is.
Oh wow, this does like a random thing for you this night?
Up to the universe. I got a couple tricks, man. The Twitch tricks and other
nice
stuff. We got. We're gonna message here 55 ticket, and I'm gonna make sure. Let me just do this.
Oh look, a past winner too.
He's got good energy, man.
He's on the grind.
Yeah,
it's good. See, he's motivated. He's trying to get some tickets.
Yes.
22-year-old from Croatia, I think it said. He's trying to come up.
He's participating.
Good luck to you.
Yes, there it is. Well, Bryn, I am very, 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 very much appreciative. I know you got a busy day. You got some action. You're involved. You got things happening today, so I appreciate you taking on the time.
Anytime.
I really appreciate it. Bryn Kenney, the legend right here, #1 all-time money list. Follow him on Instagram, Twitter, all this stuff. He'll be back on the show, and we'll keep an eye on his next projects. Thanks, brother.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, let's.